class! Welcome to my channel. So today, ang prepare kong lesson is series and sequence. So let us proceed sa discussion natin. So what is a series and a sequence? An itemized collection of elements in which repetitions of any sort are allowed is known a sequence. So sequence daw ang tawag doon, whereas series is the sum of all elements. So, ang series is a collection of elements in which repetition of any sorts are allowed. And then yung series is the sum of all elements. In short, a sequence is a list of all of items or objects which have been arranged in a sequential way. So, may pattern yung sequence is nag-a-arrange lang tayo ng certain items or objects. In terms of mathematics, nag-a-arrange ng, it's an arrangement of numbers lang naman, which is, meron siyang sequential way. Sabi, meron siyang pattern, yung from previous number up to the next number and so on, yun yung sequence. Pag sinabi naman natin series, can be highly generalized as the sum of all terms in a sequence. Kung ibig sabihin, if a given sequence, let's say, a finite sequence na meron ng 5 terms, let's say 5 terms ng sequence, kapag in-add up natin siya, ang tawag na dun ay series. Series is the sum of all terms in a sequence. However, there has to be a definite relationship between all terms of the sequence. Sabihin, kapag in-add up natin siya using series, meron tayong definite relationship between all the terms of the sequence. Sabihin, meron siyang common arrangements or may sequence siya, common sequence kapag ina-add natin yun. Ayun. Yun yung difference between series and sequence. So, ano pa ba ang mga difference between series and sequence? Okay, sequence or sequences is set of all of elements that follows a pattern. Okay? Kapag series, sum of elements of the sequence. Total lang siya. Kapag sequence or sequences, ina-add, ano lang natin siya, wala tayong ina-add. Ina-arrange lang natin, set of all patterns lang, elements lang siya. Kapag series, meron na tayong operation which is addition. Order of elements is important sa sequence. So, since meron siyang sinusundan na arrangement and sequential way, so ibig sabihin, yung order, kung alin yung first number followed by the second number and so on, is important. Otherwise, sa sequence, order of elements is not important. As long as meron tayong dineclare na ito lang yung elements na yun at yun lang yung belong dun sa sequence, kahit balik-balik ta rin natin yun since addition ang process ni series, okay lang yun. Okay? Finite sequence, ito lang yung finite sequence. Pag sinabi natin finite, meron siyang a certain number of terms lang. Let's say, kagaya na itong sequence na to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 terms lang siya. Kapag finite series, that is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. Okay? Meron na tayong addition operation. Kapag infinite sequence naman, meron tayong, by the word itself, infinite, di natin alam yung endpoint niyan. So, for example, itong 1, 2, plus 3, plus, 1, 2, 3, 4, and ellipsis. Kapag kami nakita ko yung tatlong tuldok niyan, that ang basa dyan is ellipsis, ibig sabihin continuous. Kapag infinite series, that is 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus ellipsis, sabihin walang end yun as long as we follow a certain pattern at nag-a-add lang tayo. At the same time sa sequence, we follow a certain pattern and so on hanggang sa kaya natin siya i-declare. Yun, infinite sequence yun. Okay, that is the difference between series and sequence. Ano pa meron sa kanila? Next is common difference. Meron silang tinatawag na common difference saka common ratio. Okay? So, in sequence, since meron siyang arrangement of sequential sequential way ng mga numbers, gusto natin malaman ano yung number from a certain position Okay? Kapag meron silang common difference, okay? Kapag may common difference sila at gusto natin malaman yun, ito formula. Okay? A sub n, where A sub n is the represent the n term. Okay? Kapag common difference yung meron sila, ayan, is equal to A plus the quantity of n minus 1 times d, where A is the first term, n is the number of term, and d is the common difference. Okay? Kapag namang common ratio, sabihin, yung sequential pattern nila ay meron silang common ratios, ito naman yung formula. Okay? So, A sub n is equal to AR raised to n minus 1, where A is the same pa rin, that is the first term, R is the common ratio, n is the number of term, so the nth term, and then minus 1, which is a constant. Yun yung kapag gusto lang natin malaman at what at a certain nth term, ano yung number na nandun. Okay? Kapag naman gusto natin alamin yung sum of the first nth term, let's say, gusto mo malaman what is the sum of the first 5 terms, or what is the sum of the 11 terms, or 20 terms, okay, dun sa given sequence. Ito na yung formula nun. Okay? So, kung merong common difference, ibig sabihin, check mo muna natin kung yung series is merong yung sequence is merong common difference. Okay, ito formula na gagamitin natin. Tapos, if ever na wala siyang common difference, check natin kung meron siyang common ratio. Kung meron siyang common ratio, itong formulas na gagamitin natin. Okay? So, sir, paano kung wala siyang common difference at wala rin siyang common ratio? Okay? Take note, viewers, itong formula na to is applicable lang sa sequence and series kapag mayroong common difference, ito yung formula. At kapag may common ratio, ito yung formula. Otherwise, other formula ang ginagamit natin doon. Okay? So, ito yung standardized. Usually, meron namang given term, series, ay formula para dun sa mga to determine the total sum nun. Pero other lesson na yun eh. So dito lang tayo. Focus tayo dito sa topic na to. Okay? Proceed tayo dun sa example para at least mas mabilis natin maintindihan. Tayo sa example. This example number 1. If 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22, ellipsis is a sequence. So based by observation, a pattern of numbers, okay, sequence siya, find the nth term. So, alamin natin ano yung formula to determine the certain nth term and the 31st term. Okay? So, since ito yung dalawang hinahanap natin, paano natin i-solve yan? Unang gawin natin is alamin muna natin based dun sa given sequence kung meron ba silang common difference or common ratio, alin dun sa dalawa. So, kasi di ba may dalawa tayong formulas. Meron tayong dalawang set of formulas. So, alamin natin kung saan siya pasok. Sa common difference ba or sa common ratio. Okay? So, paano gagawin natin? Yung next term, pagka common difference, yung next term minus the before term. Okay? So, for example, dito, okay, yun ang unang dating gawin na, determine if it has a common difference or common ratio. If none, hindi natin masasagot yan unless meron tayong certain formula para dyan. Okay? Yung nth term na formula. So, tingnan natin kung meron siyang nth term and common difference. So, for common difference, so this is 7 minus 4 which is equal to 3. Ang sinabi ko nga kanina, from the previous from the next term minus the before term. So, ibig sabihin, yung next term natin is 7, or the higher term. Yung second term minus the first term, or the previous term. 7 minus 4 is 3. So, that is the difference between 7 and 4. Next, tingnan natin yung kasunod, 10 minus 7, which is 10 minus 7 is also 3. Check natin yung kasunod. 13 minus 10 is also 3. 16 minus 13 is also 3. 19 minus 16 is also 3. So, ibig sabihin may common difference sila na 3. Tingnan natin kung meron silang common ratio natin. So, ganun pa rin yung since common ratio ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, titingnan natin kung yung mula dun sa next term divided by the previous term. So, 7 divided by 4, which is 1.75. How about 10 divided by 7? That is 1.43. Doon pa lang sa pangalawang combinations natin, hindi na sila nagkaroon ng common ratio. So, sinabi natin common, ibig sabihin the same. Since hindi sila the same, so ibig sabihin wala silang common ratio, pero meron silang common difference which is 3. So, formula tayo ng common difference. Yun na lang, yun yung ibig sabihin, kaya natin dinidetermine kung ano yung kung meron ba siyang common difference or common ratio. Inaalam natin kung ano yung dapat natin gamitin formula. So, since ang gagamitin natin is common difference, formula for common difference, determining the nth term. So, yung formula for nth term. So, which is, ito yung formula for common difference. That is, A sub n is equal to A plus the quantity of n minus 1 times D. So, where A, since n term lang tayo, wala tayong substitute dito. Tama? Pero meron tayong pwedeng substitute for A, which is the first term. A is the first term, which is 4. And A is equal to 4. And D is the common difference, which is 3. Okay, D is 3. And the common difference. So, by substitution, that is 4 plus the quantity of n minus 1 times 3. Okay, by distributive property, so this will become A sub n is equal to 4 plus 3n minus 3. Okay, arrange natin since combine like terms. So, 3n plus 4 minus 3. Same side lang tayo, so hindi tayo nag-change ng sign. Kahit balik-balik ta rin natin yan. Okay? So, by combining, this will become A sub n is equal to 3n plus 1. So, therefore, the nth term is 3n plus 1. Okay, kung i-arrange natin to or isusulat natin tong sequence na to, pwede natin isulat siya as 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22, ellipses, up to 3n plus 1. Okay? So, yun yung end term natin. How about yun yung unang, pa lang, meron pa tayong isang hinahanap, the 31st term. So, the 31st term, since may formula na naman tayo, which is 3n plus 1, ayun yun, di na gamitin natin. So, A sub 31 is equal to 3 times 31 plus 1, which is 3 times 31, that is 93, plus 1. So, A31 is 94. A sub 31 is equal to 94. Ibig sabihin, the 31st term, kung susundan natin itong pattern na to, okay? Susundan nyo yung pattern na yan. Ang pang 31 ninyo, that is 94. So, kung gusto nyo ma-check yun, okay na bahala. Countings natin. This is the first term, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hanggang sa makarating kayo sa 31. So, bahala na kayo. Kung hindi kayo maniniwala na 94 yan. No? So, that's the way para malaman nyo kung talaga 94 yung pang 31st term. Okay? So, that's sample problem number 1. Proceed tayo sa sample problem number 2. So, consider the sequence 1, 4, 16, 64, 256, 1024. Find the 9th term and the sum of the first 7 terms. Tingnan natin. So, by observing, titingnan natin yan. 4 minus 1 is 3. 16 minus 4 is 12. So, therefore, dun sa difference pa lang, wala na silang common difference. So, check natin kung meron silang common ratio. 4 divided by 1 is 4. And 16 divided by 4 is also 4. Tama? So, in terms by observing dito sa number of terms, meron silang common ratio. Okay? Since may common ratio siya, punta tayo dun sa formula to determine the common ratio. Nalam natin yung 9th term. Okay? Yung sum of first 7th term, ito yung formula. Dito muna tayo sa sum of first 7th term. Wherein, that is n sub n is equal to a minus 1. A times 1 times the quantity of 1 minus r is to n all over 1 minus r. Where a is the first term, which is 1. Yun, first term natin. A is 1. R is the common ratio, which is 4. And n is the number of terms, which is 7 terms. So 7. So by substitution, so this is S sub 7 is equal to 1 times the quantity of 1 minus 4 is to 7 all over 1 minus 4, which is give us the answer 1 minus 16,384. Okay? So 4 is to 7 is 16,384. Hindi yan 4 times 7 ha. Ang ibig sabihin niya 4 raised to 7, i-multiply mo yung 4 by itself ng 7 times. So 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 gives us the answer of 16,384. Okay? Wala na yung 1 dito kasi any number na multiplied by 1 is still the same. So, kung ibang number yan, hindi maglalagay kayo yung ibang number dito. Okay? So, yung denominator natin, 1 minus 4 is give us negative 3. So, that will become 1 minus 16,384 give us the answer of negative 16,383 divided by negative 23 give us the answer of S sub n or S sub 7, right? This is S sub 7 is equal to 5,461. Okay? Answer natin. Next, so the 9th term, okay, check na tayo dito. Ay naalam pa natin yung 9th term. Okay, the 9th term, formula for 9th term, for common ratio, that is A sub n is equal to AR raised to n minus 1, where A is 1, the first term, and the n is the number of terms, which is 9. So A sub 9 is equal to 1 times 4 raised to 9 minus 1, give us the answer of 4 raised to 8. 9 minus 1 is 8. 4 raised to 8 is 65,536. Okay? O, yan yun. O, bahala na kayo kasi pang 9 term lang naman yun. Madali lang yan. Diba? Kasi 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kung gusto nyo i-check kung yun talaga yung pang 9 term, bahala kayo. O, di sundan nyo na lang yung pattern na yan using the formula. Ito yung formula naman eh. So, which is n minus 1 lang naman. 4 raised to n minus 1. Okay? That's the sample problem number 2. I hope nasusundan nyo. Tingnan natin yung sample number 3. Sample problem number 3. List all the terms given that a sub n is equal to 100 minus 5n. For n is greater than or equal to 1 or n less than or equal to 4. So, ibig sabihin, itong condition na to, ay inequalities na yan, condition na yan, ibig sabihin, ang kukunin natin, pinag-usapan natin dito is a finite sequence. Okay? Since tinatanong lang naman, list all the terms. Hindi naman natin kailangan isub. I-arrange lang natin ano yung mga terms using this formula. Okay? Yung first terms mula first term up to fourth term, okay, which is yun yung sinasabi dito, where viewers, ang ini-indicate nun is number of terms. So therefore, kung sinasabi niya is greater than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to 4, ibig sabihin from 1 to 4, okay, from first term to fourth term, ibig sabihin nun. So i-substitute lang natin. So, for n is equal to 1, that is a sub 1 is equal to 100 minus 5 times 1, which is a sub 1 is equal to 100 minus 5, give us the answer a sub 1 is equal to 95. How about for n sub 2? Kasi hanggang, ibig sabihin dyan, 4 na n tayo hanggang n sub 4. So for n sub 2 is equal to 100, or for a sub 2 is equal to 100 minus 5 times 2, give us the answer 100 minus 10. So a sub 2 is equal to 90. Next, for n is equal to 3, so a sub 3 is equal to 100 minus 5 times 3. So that is 100 minus 15. So a sub 3 natin is 85. For n sub 4, that is a sub 4 is equal to 100 minus 5 times 4. So that is 100 minus 20. So a sub 4 natin is 80. Since hanggang 4 lang naman ang kinukuha natin, so list down natin. Ayan. A sub n is equal to 100 minus 5n. For n is greater than or equal to 1, or less than or equal to n less than or equal to 4. So that is 95, 90, 85, and 80. No need to add kasi list down lang naman. List all the terms. So this is the answer. 95, 90, 85, and 80. Okay? So that's all for this lesson. Thank you for watching. And I hope may natutunan na naman kayo sa mathematics. Thank you sa patuloy na pagsusubaybay dito sa aking channel. So bye-bye. See you again for another video.